Alright, what is going on, guys? UFC 311 has just ended. I'm going to go to my full card post fight. Starting off with the early prelim opener of Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Ulanbekov wins via unanimous decision. I said I was going to do it, and I think my last video I made of my post fight reaction. I must pull up the scorecards on my phone and go through them as we go through the fights. Although I think this is a clear 30-27, and I'm pretty sure none of the judges messed this up at all. There were a couple of wonky scorecards throughout the night. Nothing that I can remember off the top of my head that like completely altered the fight or the outcome of a fight. So two 30-27s and one 29-28 for Tagir Ulanbekov, and the one judge gave Carpenter round two. Trying to remember anything significant happened in round two that I gave Ulanbekov all three rounds. He just seemed to be a little bit better everywhere than Clayton Carpenter. Better in the striking, better in the grappling, better in the wrestling. Carpenter wasn't a complete shutout. It was a competitive fight, but Ulanbekov was clearly the better fighter. So not much to say about that. I think it was a little too early in Clayton Carpenter's career to get someone this high up in the rankings. I know he's only ranked like number 12. But anyway, nonetheless, let's move on because I'm excited to get some of these main card fights. We have Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopai. Turcios got that dog in him, you know what I mean? Like he was just getting battered and then would just move forward and keep going. I mean, he had his moments, the scorecards. 30-27, Sopai, 29-28, and 30-27. Yeah, the only round I agree, one judge gave Turcios round one. I agree to that. I mean, Turcios was getting battered pretty much every single round. Outside of one wasn't a complete beatdown. One was probably the most competitive round. But Turcios did have his moments going back and forth. There was a couple of moments, I think in the second or third round, where like, Sopai might be getting tired. He might gas out, and Turcios will pick up. That is the one thing I can say good about Ricky Turcios is he does have cardio to go a hard 3 rounds. Great fight, and mildly excited for Bernardo Sopai to continue fighting. Moving up the card. Names Rin Nakamura versus Moon Gaffarov. I can pronounce his name. This is a pretty good fight, decent fight. Judges scored it. I think it was all 30-27s. Yep. I got this prediction wrong. If I remember correctly, I picked Nakamura to win via decision. Complete opposite. Gaffarov was able to outstrike him. And the little grappling exchanges they had. I didn't really know much about Nakamura at all. I was just kind of going off a gut instinct. Commentary team was saying like, oh, he's a pedigreed wrestler, like he's got good wrestling. He didn't shoot for any takedowns. I don't know if these stats are correct or not, but I don't remember him shooting for any takedowns at all. You wouldn't tell. I know sometimes when wrestlers start to strike and get finishes with striking, they fall in love with the striking, and that's all they do is go to the striking. So I don't know if that's kind of what happened in this fight, or not. But Gaffarov landed good shots, landed some good power shots. I can't remember what round it was, but he dropped him. It might have been third round. Can't remember. But somewhat close to a finishing sequence, but couldn't end up getting the finish. Great fight, or good fight. Moving up the card. So, this was a somewhat controversial fight. We have Carol Rosa versus Aylin Perez. Let's look at the official judges' scorecards, which this is why, in my opinion, it's controversial. So we have a 29-28 for Aylin Perez, first judge, scoring at rounds 1 and 2. Second judge, 30-27 for Aylin Perez, scoring all 3 rounds, obviously. And then the third judge, 29-28, rounds 1 and rounds 2 for Aylin Perez. That is how I personally scored. Now, I think round 1 you definitely give to Aylin Perez. Round 3 you definitely give to Carol Rosa. Perez really didn't do much of anything in the third round. She was getting her leg chopped badly. So Rosa did most of the damage. She was landing the better of the shots in the round, and she really wasn't effective at all with her grappling. Perez was in that third round. So I have no clue how that one judge gave her the third round. That was kind of out of line. Other than that, the second round was more competitive. Like I said, I think first round was clear Ailin Perez round. Second round, I could have scored it either way. I happened to score it for Ailin Perez. I thought she did a little bit more with the wrestling. Kind of like how I said it would probably be. Wasn't all as boring as I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was going to be more of a wrestling, grindy match. And that's somewhat what it ended up. Wasn't too bad. Women's bantamweight division isn't that good. Maybe she can get up to a title shot or like climb up to the top five, but I don't think she'll ever win it. Perez, that is. Moving up, opening up the prelims. This is a great fight. I have no clue why the crowd was booing. I'm pretty sure I don't need to look up the scorecard. I think every judge scored at 30-27. Yeah, they did. Anytime Dawson would do any wrestling at all, the crowd would boo. Like, this was an exciting, fun fight. I don't understand it at all. Yeah. If you look at this shit, the UFC can't update their website. 59-28. Go to the next. Let's go back down to this one. 59-28. Yeah, they don't upload it. They don't update it. Multi-billion-dollar company. That drives me nuts. Anyway, back to the fight. Grant Dawson, Diego Ferreira. Diego had his moments in this fight. They were going to some wild, crazy exchanges at certain times in the fight, but Dawson, I think, did seem somewhat improved in his striking from previous fights. But anytime it would get a little dicey on the feet, he would be able to secure a takedown. And once he would secure the takedown, Diego really didn't have a will to get back up, and he really didn't threaten anything off of his back. His coaches were screaming at him the whole time, like, "Don't settle, don't take bot, like, just don't accept the position," and he would accept the position. There was actually a couple fights on this card where coaches were screaming instructions at the fighter, and the fighter just wasn't listening to the coach. So maybe if he would listen to his coach, could have done a little better. But Dawson calls Beneil Dariush out. I think that's a solid matchup. Although on Dawson's end, I think Beneil, kind of what has happened, I think he deserves a nice, like a higher end type fight, someone in the top 10, not someone who's unranked. But I thought this was a good fight. There were good wrestling exchanges in the fight, good striking exchanges in the fight. Very fun and exciting fight. I liked it personally. Moving up, this fight I actually missed. I did not watch this fight. Bogdan Guskov versus whatever. I saw the finish and that was it. I had no clue why the betting odds were for Billy. How the fuck you say his name? Billy. He took it on short notice. Johnny Walker pulled out due to injury. I have no clue why the betting odds were like that. And the same for the Zaccharis Amzat Bikoyev fight, even if Bikoyev ended up winning. Anyway, Bogdan Guskov, Billy. I'm just going off of what I saw online and what Bogdan even said in his post fight. I'm assuming in the first round, Billy used his grappling, kind of what the vibe I was getting online and what Guskov was saying in his post fight. Used the grappling, probably gassed himself out, wasn't prepared for a fight. And then in the second round, Guskov, I came in like the last tail end of the finishing sequence, maybe like the minute before the finishing sequence. Guskov is hurting him on the feet, and he's like, Billy's like showed up against the cage, just, doing this. He's getting hit, and the ref's not stopping it because he's not getting hit enough to where okay, we need to stop the fight. But it's like he's not really doing anything besides this. He's sitting here like this. Maybe he's moving his head a little bit, but he's not really doing much. And Bogdan, like, at one point was like, all right, come on, get up. Billy's just sitting there. Eventually, he gets tired of it, goes in, locks up. It was a guillotine, I think is how he finished the fight, correctly. Yeah. It was a guillotine. Got the guillotine. What does it mean? Come in on short notice. Good performance for Bogdan. Hopefully we'll see him in some good fight in the future against an actual ranked opponent. Anyway, Zachary Reese, Amzat Bikoyev. I got this pick wrong. I think Reese might be like a middleweight. Oh, what's that welterweight? He had that long freaking hair. I can remember his nickname, but I can't remember his actual freaking name. Nickname's Semi the Jedi. Why can't it Matthew Simmelsberger? That's his name. It's like one fight gets the first round KO, one fight he gets KO'd in the first round, back and forth. Um, he was doing good on the feet in the beginning of the match. Makhachev losing on the feet, gets the takedown, was able to secure the takedown um, pretty easily. And then Reese is throwing some elbows off of his back, although he's not really showing the urge and the want and then get up off of his back and has kind of accepted the position. Was going for like trying to set up some submissions, but Makhachev knew he was trying to set stuff up, so he really wasn't getting anywhere with that. He did land some good elbows off his back, but that's not really enough. Makhachev just gets the brutal ground and pound first round KO. Good for him coming in on, I don't know how many days Rodriguez Dumas pulled out. I don't remember when he pulled out, but within 2 weeks, I'm guessing, is when it was. So, good for him. Get a win in his UFC debut on short notice. So that was a solid fight. But moving up, the featured prelim of the night. Drink to that. Fuck. Peyton Talbot, Honey Barcelos. I picked Peyton Talbot, and so did everybody else. I don't know if the betting line's on here. Negative 1,100. Everybody was picking Peyton Talbot to brutally KO Honey Barcelos in the first round. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then as soon as I start seeing Talbot have absolutely no ability to get up once being taken down or to work anything off his backward submissions or anything, I knew it was over. There were some moments throughout the fight, more in the third round, where he had his moments where he was able to be successful in the striking. But I think in the first round, within like 30 seconds, a minute, Barcelos had him down and he couldn't do anything. Similar, just like Kevin Holland, but he didn't get submitted at least. I will give Talbot props where he was able to defend the submissions, not get submitted. So that, good on him on that part. But he has to work on the grappling. He got one, I think, second round, he got a takedown on Barcelos. Good takedown, solid takedown. But I think he needs to work on the wrestling, work on the takedown defense. He's young. This is his first loss. A few undefeated fighters lost today, which was nice. But I think, he can bounce back from this. Just work on the grappling. Moving up the card. Opening up the pay-per-view, I was 100% wrong and right at the same time. I went with Kevin Holland. I knew the reason I went with Kevin Holland, I'll probably never fucking pick him again, depending on who he's fighting. Like if he fights him versus Michael Chiesa, I'm not picking Michael Chiesa. If they give him some shitter, yeah, I'll probably pick him. But against any elite opposition, I'll never pick Kevin Holland. The reason I picked him was how shit DeRitter looked on the feet last fight and in the fight he had before that outside the UFC. He looks like absolute shit. I think it was a jab and then shot a takedown to Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland had absolute nothing off of his back. He couldn't do anything. I think at one point he might have been trying to set up it was an armbar. He was trying to get an armbar. Couldn't get the armbar. Eventually, doing some scrambling. The Ritter gets his back. At one point, I thought he was going to fall off of his back. He looked like Holland was like standing. Ritter was on the back. But I think he was might have been grabbing Kevin Holland's arm to hold him up. Can't remember what he did exactly to hold him up. I think that's what he might have did. I think he might have had either hold the arm or had a Kimura grip. I can't remember. I don't recall exactly. But anyway, got the rear naked choke in the first round. Good win for DeRitter. He calls for a top 5 opponent. Honestly, give him somebody in the rankings. Like, we have the Strickland Duplessis next month, too. Then after that, the winner of that fight needs to fight Hamzat. So, regardless if Duplessis wins or Strickland or Hamzat wins versus either one of those two motherfuckers, give DeRitter top ranked opponent. If he gets a win versus a top ranked opponent, throw him in a title fight. He's old. He's like 35 years old. He's good elite jiu-jitsu skills. See if that shoots and able to win titles here like it did in one championship. Not much to say about this fight. Moving on. Great fight. I will say the pay-per-view portion, even though the main event got switched around, the pay-per-view portion of this UFC 311 was great. I really enjoyed every fight on the card. But we have Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. Great back and forth fight. Trading a little bit on the feet. Spivak gets him down. For a while there, I thought, Almeida, he's gonna get pounded out. Pause. And I thought Spivak was gonna get him, and then Almeida reversed. And then, if I remember correctly, Spivak reversed again. Then Almeida got back up and clipped him. I can't remember what he clipped him with, but he hurt Spivak badly. There wasn't much time left. Yeah, 4:53 is when the finish happened, or the stoppage happened. There wasn't much time left. I want to say there was like maybe 45 seconds left. Almeida hurts him and starts swarming him with punches. Then maybe there was like 20 seconds left, and he's like going for a takedown. No, don't go for the takedown. Like, just punch him, knock him the fuck out. Picks him up, slams him down. Was it full mount? I can't remember if it was full mount or if Spivak was in like a turtle, and Almeida might have been hitting him from the side. I don't remember exactly. It was something like that. And then Almeida gets the first round TKO and calls for either Cyril Gane or Tom Aspinall. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think if Gane is not injured, you do Almeida Gane. Winner of that fight fights the winner of, shit. You have John Jones, Tom Aspinall. If John Jones beats Tom Aspinall and then retires, essentially, you just do Jailton Almeida versus Cyril Gane for the heavyweight championship. Because you don't throw Aspinall straight into a title fight if he's just lost the title fight. Who knows what they do. But I agree, give him Gane or Aspinall. I agree with that. I'd rather him see Gane. I hope he submits Gane. Although Almeida, even though he started his finishing sequence on the feet, he's not that good at striking. He's got good, decent kicks. Improving, but not that good on the feet. Moving up the card, this was a fight right here. We had Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. I am going to look up real quick. They do post the, who got the performance bonuses and shit on their UFC News Twitter, which I didn't know existed until 2 months ago. So we're going to see if they posted those. They have not posted them yet as of recording this video. I'm going to check the actual UFC Twitter. I'd like to know, because this was probably my fight of the night. Oh, they got it posted. Okay, so we have Performance of the Night bonus goes to Jailton Almeida. Performance of the Night bonus goes to Yuri Prohaska. That is it. Okay, no fight of the night. I never understand that. Sometimes they do fight of the night and sometimes they don't. I feel like every card, regardless how shit it is, should have fight of the night. Give two people 50K each. Anyway, let's talk about this fight. Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill. Great fight. First round, clear round for Yuri. Excuse me. Hurts and drops Jamal Hill in the first round. It was a left hook. Couldn't get the finish. Did try to get the finish. Got hit with an up kick that hurt him. Kind of just outstruck Jamal Hill for the rest of the round. Was looking better than he did in his last fight against Pereira. I will commend him on that with the head movement. He's always had kind of weird head movement, but with actually fighting a little smarter. Second round comes out. Jamal Hill's boxing him up. Jamal Hill's landing better shots. Yuri's not really landing much on Jamal Hill. I give Jamal the second round. Third round comes out, and I can't remember what round it was in. They both eye poked each other. Was it the second round? It might have been the second round they both eye poked each other, and you could tell Yuri like he said he was good, but you could tell he wasn't good. But they were bringing doctors in and everything, and he just wanted to continue fighting. So he probably just told them whatever the fuck they wanted to hear and just kept fighting. I can't remember the second or third round. Anyway, third round comes out. It's 1-1 going into the third round. They're both kind of landing back and forth, and then Yuri drops him again and gets the finish. I'm so glad I got this prediction right. Jamal Hill did look good in this fight. Didn't I definitely think he's a top 5 light heavyweight. I'll leave it at that. I don't think he'll ever become champion again. I don't think Yuri will ever become champion again. They're both top 5 light heavyweights. I think they'll probably both like in their early 30s, like 33, 32, if I remember correctly. So I think they'll probably be in the top 5 for a long time. There's not really too many people working their way up at light heavyweight. You got Olberg working his way up. So other than that, great fight, great win by Yuri. He says, damn it, I want another fight with Pereira. They also confirmed, which is great, I'll make a video on this as well, Pereira versus Ankalaev in March, and Gaethje and Hooker in a 5-round co-main event. Anyway, yeah, okay, maybe give Yuri, let him be the backup for that fight. That would be good. Other than that, if Pereira wins, I mean, maybe you do the third Yuri fight. I'll have to look in my fights to make video. I don't think Pereira's going to win. I want him to win, but I think Ankalaev's going to win. So at that point, I wouldn't say Pereira deserves an immediate rematch. Because he has what? Title defense against Jamal Hill. Got 3 defenses. Jamal Hill, Yuri, and Roundtree, and he won it off of Yuri. So maybe he would deserve an immediate rematch. I think 3 defenses, you might. I don't know. Yuri needs to fight somebody else, unless Weiman is the backup for UFC. I think it's 313. Be the backup for that fight in case one of them pulls out. Other than that, probably needs one more win, especially if Pereira wins. I would say he needs one. Or if Pereira, especially if Pereira wins. If Magomed Ankalaev wins, and they don't want to give Pereira an immediate rematch. They've never fought before, so you can do Ankalaev versus Yuri. But great fight. Probably my fight of the night. Moving up, co-main event. This was such a good fight. I'm so happy I got my pick right. We have Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab gets the win. I'm so excited. I honestly thought that they were going to give it to Umar, though. I 100%, I even tweeted it out. I don't want to quote myself. Read this exact tweet. Okay. Let's read this shit. I said, I have it 3-2 Merab, but I think Umar will get the robbery decision. And I'm going to break down my thought process behind that. First 2 rounds, I need to pull the scorecards as well. Because this had some wacky scorecards. First 2 rounds, clear Umar. He was outstriking Merab. Merab wasn't really doing much with the grappling. Landing the better shots on Merab. So I scored the first 2 rounds for Umar. I thought they were clear. I didn't think there was no way you could score him for Merab. Third round. And this is why I thought Umar might get it was going to be a split decision for Umar or some bullshit robbery. Round 3 was close. Round 3 was really close. I don't have the stats up here. Aren't correct. You could have scored round 3 either way. I scored round 3 for Merab is the grappling. And same with 4 and 5. Essentially, he did land some decent shots. I think Umar probably landed the better shots overall in the fight. Merab was kind of ducking down, throwing right hands a lot, and shooting for a single leg. Other than that, I think he was going in for a takedown. Umar defended it, he got up, and he hit him with a right hand getting back up. Other than that, Merab didn't land any big shots. He landed 2 or 3 good shots, but it was the grappling. I mean, that's how I thought he was going to win this fight. He was just gonna. Now I don't think he shot as many takedowns as he did in the Young fight, but he shot a lot of takedowns in this fight, and he would throw some punches, shoot some takedowns, and that's essentially all he did. One thing that he did that another thing he did that I thought was going to lose the fight was all the showboating he was doing. Sometimes the judges they do not like the showboating. This fight it didn't seem to affect it, so that's good. Um, yeah, I thought they were going to give Umar rounds 1, 2, and 3, but let's look at the judges' scorecards real quick. So we have the 2 judges that I thought scored the correct score. You have Chris Lieben, shout out to him for being a judge. Scored rounds 3, 4, and 5 for Merab, which is what I did. And then Mike Bell scored rounds 3, 4, and 5 for Merab, like I did. You have Chris Crail, who scored rounds 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, and 5 for Merab. I have to go back and rewatch the first round, but off the top of my head, I thought it was a clear Umar round. Like, I tweeted it out, 10-9 Umar. Like, I didn't think there was a doubt that Umar won the first round. So the judging, a little iffy tonight. It seems like we're always recently having some weird iffy judging, at least on a couple of fights where there's, at least in this case, I think the correct fighters won, but one of the judges got one of the rounds wrong. So I wish there's something I could do about the judging, but I honestly there probably isn't. So I'm glad Merab won. I feel happy for him. Who do you give him next? Do you give Sean O'Malley an immediate rematch? I don't think so. Would it surprise me if the UFC did that? No, not at all. He only had one title defense against Marlon Vera, absolute dog shit out of, didn't deserve a title fight anyway. There's only 2 people in the top 5 that are, you got O'Malley get the immediate rematch, or Piotr Jan getting a rematch with Merab. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. I mean, Merab absolutely destroyed him in their fight. But Jan's beat Song Yadong and who did you fuck did you why can't I remember? It's gonna piss me off. I can't remember who he or in his last fight. Davison Figueiredo. It was a main event in China. Yeah, so he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. One of those 2 is going to be who you have Merab fight next. But I'm so glad Merab won this fight. I'm glad Umar lost. Fuck Umar. Moving on to the main event. I knew this was going to happen. To be fair, I didn't make an updated video when the news broke on this. I didn't make a video, or I don't even think I tweeted about it. But I was picking Islam to win. I bet for him to win by TKO. Obviously, he didn't win by TKO. So first round, only round. Moicano's actually looking decent on the feet. He was winning the exchanges on the feet. I think Islam landed 1 or 2 shots. Moicano was landing good leg kicks on Islam, and then Islam says, "I'm not doing any of that bullshit," and just fucking blasts a takedown, gets Moicano down. Moicano has absolutely nothing to offer, and goes to half guard mostly. And I can't remember. I think Islam was trying to move in position, and then somehow Moicano got the feet on the hips, pushed off, tried to scramble up, and then got caught in the Darce choke and tapped out rather quickly. So Islam's squeeze must be tight. Pause. Kind of figured this was going to happen. I guess I'm not shocked that it's a submission. Feel bad for Moicano. He looked really sad, understandably. It was kind of a letdown that it wasn't. I wanted him to win, Moicano, that is. I didn't figure he would win, but I kind of wanted it to go longer than 1 round. Wanted it to be a little bit more, round 3 or 4 maybe. Would have been nice. We got some more watch time. But kind of taints. It kind of taints Islam's title defense but at the same time, it doesn't. Moicano was training for a fight anyway. He himself said he was training for 5 rounds just in case. He said it. So I saw it online. He said it. I'm not going to take it away. Moicano is not a complete bum. I think if you did Moicano and Hooker, I think Moicano would win. I think Moicano would beat Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. I think Moicano would beat a lot of the top people in the lightweight division. But good on Islam. He is probably going to be going down as the greatest lightweight of all time. I don't know of anybody that I think can really beat him. I know I picked Armin against him. Maybe they rebook that, but I don't know if I pick him now. I'd have to, I'm gonna have to rewatch the shit and think about it, and I don't know. But great, UFC 311 was great. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think of UFC 311? If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.